Right now at noon, we're tracking some showers and thunderstorms today, and we're going to see plenty more this week. Details coming up.
Plus, the search for the suspect in the shooting of two Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses is over, when the accused killer is set to be in court for the first time. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us on a Monday afternoon. I'm Josh Spreiter. Right now, we're tracking multiple rounds of rain and storms this week, and some of those have the potential to be on the strong to severe side. First Warn meteorologist Jacob Madison is tracking it all for us in his certified most accurate forecast. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh. Yeah, right now we are seeing some of those showers and thunderstorms, although at least right now we're not seeing any severe weather. And although we could see some severe weather tonight, we're not expected to see those strong storms during the afternoon hours. But these showers and storms moving very slowly from west to east. At times they've been fizzling out and then they strengthen up again. So overall, they're just going to kind of linger across parts of our area throughout the day. Not everyone will see rain today, especially for places further south and east. But these scattered showers and thunderstorms, they definitely are going to continue to be possible for the afternoon, where then it looks like we'll dry out for the evening. And then we focus our attention to the northwest, where we are going to see some of those showers and thunderstorms move back into the area, especially for places north of Madison. And the rain that we're expecting tonight could bring some severe weather. But once again, not everyone will see that rain tonight, especially places south. You folks may be dry, with areas to the north having the best chance to see that rainfall. So later in the afternoon and the evening, we actually are going to dry up, it looks like, with very mild temperatures, borderline warm temperatures, as highs will be in the middle to lower 80s. And we are going to see some sunshine for the evening hours as well. And looking at your evening forecast, 80s to upper 70s, and towards the end of the evening, and that's when we're expected to see some of that rain move back into the area. But it is going to be kind of a hit or miss for Madison and places south. As I mentioned, places off to the north have the better chance to see that rainfall. And then for tonight, we're going to see very mild lows as they'll drop into the middle and upper 60s, with more chances of rainfall as we head into tomorrow. But then Wednesday, that's when we're going to see the most rainfall, and we have an alert day in the forecast. So I'll talk more in detail about the other chances of thunderstorms this week coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you. You can track the storms for yourself on the First Warn weather app. It has hourly planners, road conditions, and radar. Download it for free in your phone's app store by searching WISC weather. Right now, Middleton police are continuing to investigate a shooting over the weekend. Police say it happened early Sunday morning, just before 1:30. Officers responded to reports of gunshots in the area of South Avenue and Maple Street. Residents reported hearing the shots, and police found shell casings scattered across the intersection. A nearby home had damage to a window. Police say a witness heard a car idling in the area, which they say drove off right after the shots were fired. Authorities urge anyone with information to come forward. This afternoon, the Madison Fire Department is investigating a fire that left one person without their home. It happened Saturday afternoon on Madison's north side. Madison Fire responded to a multi-unit complex on Maplewood Lane for smoke reported in the hallway. Crews arrived just after 3:30 to find smoke coming from the second floor. They put it out within 20 minutes. Paramedics evaluated and took that person with minor fire-related injuries. 2 cats did die in that fire. The suspect in the shootings of Democratic lawmakers and their spouses in Minnesota will be in court this afternoon. Police say the 2-day manhunt for 57-year-old Vance Belter ended peacefully last night after a tip led them to a field near his home about 45 miles from the Twin Cities. Belter is accused of shooting and killing Democratic State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark on Saturday. Officials are calling it a politically motivated attack. He is also charged with attempted murder in the shootings of Democratic State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. Both are now recovering from their injuries.
I want to assure our community and all those who are grieving that we will seek justice and accountability for the victims of all these heinous crimes.
Police say Belter left behind an SUV disguised as a police vehicle with police lights and markings. Inside, they found multiple weapons and a list of more than 50 possible targets, including lawmakers and abortion rights advocates. Happening tomorrow, voters in District 1 will head to the polls for a special election. On the ballot is their district's county supervisor. Both candidates, Adrian Lampron and Colin Barashik, say affordable housing is the key issue. It's what caused previous county supervisor Elizabeth Doyle to leave her position. The city of Madison says the only rental market that's tighter than Madison's is New York City. Barashek wants to create more stable and affordable homes and is proposing a higher investment in civil legal aid to help the housing crisis in Madison. Meanwhile, Lamperin's approach to expand affordable housing is to put more money into building new units. At the state capitol, the Budget Writing Committee will return to work tomorrow. They're focusing on the budget for the State Department of Corrections, among other agencies. Lawmakers are working to meet a July 1st deadline. Also, Thursday marks Juneteenth. Lawmakers are expected to hold a celebration in the Capitol tomorrow. Still ahead for us on News 3 Now at noon. If you have a question or concern about your plants or garden, now's the time to send us your questions via email to tips@channel3000.com. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company will join us later in the broadcast with the answers. Again, that is tips@channel3000.com. But first, a big weekend for live-action remakes at the box office, plus why the world's 7 largest economies are meeting in Canada as tensions in the Middle East ramp up.
President Donald Trump and other leaders of the world's 7 largest economies, known as the Group of 7, are meeting in Canada today and tomorrow. The gathering comes amid ramped-up tensions in the Middle East between Israel and Iran and President Trump's trade war. Canada's Prime Minister says some key G7 agenda items will include shoring up mineral supply chains, using AI for economic growth, and tapping into private investment for stronger infrastructure. A big weekend for live-action remakes at the box office. How to Train Your Dragon soared to the top spot in its debut, hauling in more than $83 million. Disney's Lilo and Stitch was second with more than $15 million. Romantic comedy Materialists opened third with $12 million. And today, Little Caesars is also taking a bite out of the silver screen, launching a Fantastic 4-in-1 pizza to mark next month's theatrical release of the Fantastic Four First Steps. The deal gives customers 2 slices each of 4 flavors: classic cheese, pepperoni, Italian sausage and bacon, and pepperoni and jalapeno in collectible boxes for just $7.99. Little Caesars is also partnering with Fandango to give customers $4 off a movie ticket to see the film with a purchase of $20 or more. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the stock numbers at the noon hour. The Dow's up 357 points, NASDAQ up 284, and the S&P 500 up right now 55. Pam Yankee has the farm numbers next, plus Jacob returns with the forecast, and later on Live at 4, local author joins us to talk about his new book, how his travels spanned 50 countries over 5 decades. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee for the Midwest Farm Report. Coming off a really busy weekend, Pam.
Boy, and it was a good weekend, though, Josh. The weather seemed to hold to a large extent for all the events that were going on. Let's take a look at some of the pictures from the Dane County breakfast on the farm. Yikes, I'll tell you, I got a chance to have breakfast myself. I looked down to eat my pancake. I looked up, and all of a sudden there was a swarm of humanity out at Hinchley Dairy. Thanks so much to all the volunteers. You see them in yellow. Without volunteers, these events just don't happen. When you've got a crowd as big as we do at Dane County, you need them. There's the Hinchley family, Tina and Dwayne, along with their daughter Anna, son-in-law Kevin, and brand new granddaughter Piper. Happy to host for the 3rd time the Dane County Breakfast on the Farm. It's always about the kids and the animals. The cows are used to having visitors on this farm. They also had a 7.5-minute video that helped people see the robotic milking and the cows going through the system. And one of the most popular areas, the barn kitty holding area. All those people waited in line to hold 3 barn kitties just for a couple minutes. I think the barn kitties probably slept as well as the kids did after the event was concluded. So a beautiful day on the farm. Thank you again to the Hinchley family for the extra hospitality. It wasn't the only event. I'm also hearing fantastic things for the Peony Festival that was up in Beaver Dam on the weekend and the Classic Green Reunion that was over in West Bend. Everybody enjoyed a very active crowd all weekend long. And remember, it doesn't stop. We still have more June dairy events that are going to be coming up later this week. You go to wisconsindairy.org and you'll be able to find an event, I'm sure, whether it's in your backyard or just down the road. We'll be focused tomorrow up in kind of the Outagamie County area, Wisconsin Farm Technology Day, Media Day tomorrow. So I'll have more for that for you on that later this week. Barrel cheese today down 4.5. But remember, we're not looking at barrel cheese anymore as far as price indicator for dairy farms. 40-pound block cheese, however, down 5 3/4 cents at $1.78. The AA butter, though, continues to rally up 2 1/4 cents, $2.59 1/4 per pound on that butter today. Boy, with these temperatures, Josh, the butter anywhere is going to be on the verge of melting. I've got to go up to a media field event tomorrow, and with these 80s, this body does not do well in 80-degree temperature in the middle of an open field, so it'll be interesting.
The only time I like temperatures like that is when I'm sitting in the middle of the lake and I can jump in, because we got a lot of that weather. I mean, we haven't had a lot of humidity yet so far this year. It hasn't felt like summer.
No, you're right. Bring it on, but yeah, I got to get ready.
We got to get ready. All right, Pam, you have a great afternoon.
All right, see you later.
We're tracking several storm chances this week. Meteorologist Jacob Montesano has the first warn forecast. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh, and talking about the heat, just you wait till we get to next weekend. We're probably going to see our first 90-degree day of the year, at least for some areas in southern Wisconsin. But until then, we're going to see plenty of rainfall. For today, we'll see some rain, also some sun later today, with a severe weather chance kind of beginning tonight. And then for tomorrow night, along with Wednesday, we're going to continue to see the chance of severe weather. Now, we only have an alert day in the forecast for Wednesday, because that is when we're going to see the most rainfall. And even if we don't see severe weather, we still will see alert day conditions for the heavy rain on Wednesday. Now, this is going to be for all of southern Wisconsin. And again, we are going to see other severe weather chances. And even Wednesday, the severe weather chance will be similar. It's just the widespread rainfall, which is why we have the alert day for Wednesday. So this is Monday's severe weather outlook, or I should say today. It's mostly going to be during the overnight hours. The rain we're seeing right now probably not going to produce any severe weather, but we are going to see some storms move into our area tonight that could produce some strong storms. And Tuesday we'll have a very similar situation where the severe weather will be during the early overnight hours. But for Wednesday, we're going to see the chance of severe weather kind of all day. And in all three cases, the severe weather risk is mostly marginal. Slight risk for far southeastern portions of our area on Wednesday. But the bottom line is every day we'll see at least the chance of severe weather. So looking at this afternoon's forecast, these showers and thunderstorms probably not going to produce severe weather, but they will continue for some areas before we dry out for the evening. And then as we get towards the overnight hours, we'll see those showers and thunderstorms move back into the area, especially for areas north of Madison, and this will continue through about 1 to 3 a.m. Again, Madison and areas south will be kind of hit or miss with the rainfall tonight. And then to start Tuesday, it does look like we're not going to see any rain early, but then we'll see more of those showers and thunderstorms move into our area for the afternoon and evening. Going to be pretty isolated until we get to around sunset. Then we'll see more consistent showers and thunderstorms move in. And again, it will happen during the overnight hours. Could produce some severe weather, and then it will push off. That initial round will push off, but then more showers and thunderstorms will move in. And for Wednesday, we have a chance of those showers and thunderstorms early, getting a little bit of a break for the early afternoon. And then during Wednesday evening, that's when we're going to see the most rainfall. Again, the severe weather risk isn't too high, but we still are going to see the possibility of that severe weather. But we could see several rounds of these showers and thunderstorms that could ultimately produce a lot of rainfall across our area, and this is going to continue into the overnight hours as well, finally clearing out by the time we get to around sunrise Thursday. But then Thursday afternoon, we have more chances of some showers and thunderstorms. So with all of this rain that's expected, we could be seeing upwards of 3 to 4 inches of rainfall, depending on where some of these thunderstorms pop. And I wouldn't pay too much attention to the details of this in terms of, like, it looks like we may see drier periods just south of Madison. This all depends on where some of these showers and thunderstorms form. In a general consensus, we're going to see around 2 to 3 inches at least of rainfall if we do get these storms to roll through. So we're going to be seeing plenty of rainfall the next couple days. That's the big story. And then as we get towards the weekend, the story will be the temperatures, as highs could hit the lower 90s, especially on Sunday. And we're also expecting plenty of sunshine those days as well. So it certainly will be hot once we get there. And we pretty much have a chance of rain just about every day, which is not too uncommon for this time of the year.
Here comes summer. All right, Jacob.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, today Howard's working on a fish he says is so tasty it's worthy of toasting with a big frosty glass of lemonade.
Are you ready to have some fun? I sure hope so, because today we're combining our love for homemade pucker-up lemonade with fresh salmon. I know you're thinking, that sounds odd, But once you see how this comes together, you'll be hooked. The first thing we're going to do is make a creamy lemon sauce by combining some mayonnaise with a bit of frozen lemonade concentrate that we thawed, along with a bit of black pepper. We'll set that aside for a sec, while in a large skillet, we heat the rest of the lemonade concentrate with some water. Once it's boiling, we lower the heat and add our salmon fillets. You want to cook this until the fish flakes easily, which takes about 8 minutes. When it's done, it's ready to serve hot or cold with our homemade lemonade sauce. With only a handful of ingredients and it being done in less than 10 minutes, I can't think of a better summertime meal. To get the recipe for our lemonade poached salmon, all you need to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a surprisingly refreshing way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Ahead at noon, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and garden questions. Email them now to tips@channel3000.com and we'll get the answers when we come back. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and garden questions. You can email them now to tips@channel3000.com. Definitely a week for the umbrella the way it looks.
That's good. We need the rain.
We do need the rain.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much water for that in front of us.
So, okay, I'm just going to say it's ornamental.
Okay.
So, like, we get those peppers at the end of the summer with all those little colors, and I say they're edible but not delicious. Probably the same for this. But what a conversation piece.
It is.
If you had it on your patio, it is very pretty looking, and people would say, wow. They're all going to say, can you eat this? We would say yes, but it's going to need a lot of sugar.
Big time. All right, let's get to the questions today, dude. We're going to start with Louise. Louise wants to know why there are holes in the leaves of her rose bush, and she had a photo I just showed you.
Yeah, and it was small and hard to tell. I suspect, Louise, that it's a little wormy kind of thing called a pear slug. And it's a little caterpillar that sort of eats leaves on the roses. By the time you see the damage, they're done. They have a really short lifespan. But if you want to go ahead and use like a 3-in-1 product, like all-in-one rose and flower care, that'll take care of any lingering insects and feed them. I would say, though, that I would get that rock away from the base of your rose bush. It's probably not appreciating that extra heat.
We're keeping the rose bush theme going. Deb asks how she can contain rose bushes. She also sent us a photo, and they just kind of keep shooting up new ones.
That looked like a super healthy Henry Kelsey, which is an old kind of Canadian rose, super hardy, but it does tend to send out suckers all over the place. So all you can do is just keep cutting them back. There isn't really anything that you can do to stop them. It's just the nature of that particular variety.
All right. Question 3 comes from Russell. Russell says deer have been nibbling the tops off of his garden phlox. Is that how I say that?
Yes.
All right. Learning something new. They had not yet set buds, so will they recover and still bloom this summer?
Well, I would say if they haven't set flower buds yet, there's a real possibility that they will, but in the meantime, you're going to want to keep the deer away from them because now that they've discovered, they're going to just keep going in there and pruning them. So I find that liquid scent repellents are best for deer, so something like Liquid Fence or Repels All, but use the liquid one. Don't spray it on the plant, spray it like you're making a scent barrier, and make sure that all your windows are closed because it is pretty sticky.
All right, we got one more question we're going to get to. Tammy says her peace lily will not blossom anymore. What window should it be in? Does it require a lot of water?
Peace lilies like to be evenly moist, and they also like bright indirect light. So you want to have it with a lot of light, but not the sun directly on the leaves. It tends to burn.
All right, good questions today, Lisa.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's go to Jacob now for a final check of the forecast.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of rain the next couple of days, especially on Wednesday, where we have an alert day for the heavy rain and possible severe weather. Temperatures are going to be warm in general, a lot of highs in the 80s, and then it's going to get even warmer for next weekend as we're going to see highs near 90. Possibly would be our first 90-degree day of the year if it gets to that point. So, as you mentioned earlier, Josh, summer is coming.
Yeah, going to get steamy. Thanks, Jacob. Well, The Bold and the Beautiful is coming up next. Our next newscast is coming at 4. And remember, you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. Thanks for watching.